Well, hey there everybody, welcome to another episode of Gideon's Tactical. Today we are checking out an amazing Spyderco knife, the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Let's go ahead and jump into the basic specs for you, and then we'll do some field testing, use it out there in the bush and around town, using it both for wilderness as well as EDC tasks. We'll see how it performs and we'll kind of wrap up this review. Basic specs for you here is an overall length of 8.2 inches long, so a long blade there overall open. Closed length, so the length of the handle is 4.8 inches. The blade thickness is 0.14 or an eighth of an inch thick, so nice thick blade there, very strong all the way through. You got an overall blade length from the handle right there, from where you see my thumb, where the handle starts to the tip of the blade, 3.438 inches, so just a hair under 3.5 inches, and then the actual cutting length is 3 inches even. It is made out of CPM S30V super high quality steel, and it weighs in at under 4 ounces for such a huge massive blade like this. It weighs 3.75 ounces. That is super impressive. Tip up, tip down, left or right. Pocket clip, G10 handle scales. Those are the basic specs for you. This is an amazing knife, guys. You know, it's very actually difficult to find, and it's almost impossible for Spyderco to keep it in stock at their store as well as to all their providers that sell their knives, because this is such a popular blade, because for many, many different reasons. It's got a lot to offer you, a lot of options, and for a pretty reasonable price. Usually, this is the Digicam model you can see there on the G10. Kind of hard to find. The black G10 is usually what's a little bit more available, and I believe the Digicam is a little bit more expensive. I got this secondhand in a trade, so we are looking at this already having been used pretty hard. It was almost as dull as a butter knife when I got it, and I had to resharpen it. We'll talk about resharpening here in a second and different things like that. But they usually go for about 120 to 150. Really just depends on who, what, when, where, why. But for that price point, you're getting an amazing lifetime quality blade. Let's go ahead and look up here at the front. You got that 3-inch actual cutting surface, 3.5 total length, full flat grind. You gotta love those full flat grinds, man. I just love that so much. Razor sharp once you get it back, and I know that from Spyderco, you know, razor sharp out of the box as well. Great edge. Love that kind of leaf point design that they've come up with there at Spyderco. I love that. This one has a lot of belly too. A lot of those other ones like the Delica or the Endura don't have quite as much belly. This is going to give you a lot of belly for your slicing capability, which is really nice. You got a good strong tip there. For a full flat grind, that's one of the more stronger tips I've seen and holds up really well under hard use. And then again, like I said, that eighth of an inch thick spine of the blade is really nice. Got that huge finger hole. You can see there I wear large size gloves, and I can get my index finger through that hole. That is the deployment for you, and that's great because it is either left or right. Totally ambidextrous. You're going to get the same amount of coverage. You can stick your thumb. This is how I deploy it. Stick your thumb in the hole. Boom. Whip it open. You just move your thumb. You don't even have to flick your wrist, and it opens with authority every time. Super smooth. Brass washers in there so that they're not gonna, you know, wear out, and they're not nylon like some junky, you know, piece of crap knife. So super smooth, super fast with the deployment. Lockup, they got the really nice torsion screw there, and you can just tighten it however you want. I like it slightly loose just so I can really whip it out there really nice and quick, but if you wanted it a little bit tighter, you could tighten that very easily. Let's go ahead and look at here at the locking mechanism. This is a compression lock, very unusual, and it basically, think of it as a liner lock in a way that works on the back of the knife, not underneath the blade. So what it does is it holds compression, and it's putting tension against the blade right now so that I can't whip the blade out. So if it's in my pocket, I'm not going to accidentally lose it, or it's going to, you know, kind of pop open a little bit. That's not going to happen because the compression of this little lock here is holding it into place and keeping it there, which is really nice. So then you flip it open, and this locks into place in the back of the spine. So it's working like a liner lock would, but it's hitting like dead center, you know, 50% right there, and it's locked into place, and it's got a really big open area. But what's awesome is, you know, when you're doing your stabbing, thrusting, and hard use, you're not going to accidentally hit it with your index finger. My fingers are actually not touching that lock at all when I'm using the knife. You can see there, this is the lock. I'm not touching the lock at all when I'm using the knife like that. So you just, all you would do is you just push the, I'm going to try and do it so you can see it. You just push it to the side, blade swings into place, boom, and it's closed. So it's super fast. You see there, just move it out of the way, boom, the blade falls back. Very fast, easy deployment. almost like an axis lock in its quickness and, you know, deployment aspects of the knife, which is awesome. Let's go ahead and go to some field testing now before we kind of wrap it up with the handle and the fit and feel overall. Some super thick cardboard, slicing right through that FFG full flat grind, man. The thing is just going right through that cardboard. Oh yeah. This is 1 ton rated paracord, super thick, about 3 times as thick as normal paracord. I mean, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm not even putting any pressure on this paracord, and it's going right through there. Paramilitary 2 slices through man-made materials. You see how well this full flat grind is going through that wood? I mean, it is super thin shavings there. Very comfortable with that hard pressure on the thumb ramp right there. Nice jimping. Then if I really want to get some control, choke up there, get on that finger choil. Just great wilderness folder for preparing your food or other things around the campsite. Paramilitary 2 is going to just be awesome and do a great job for you in that role as a wilderness folder. So, as you can see there, regardless if it's, you know, opening boxes, opening packaging, cutting rope, doing some carving, whittling, regardless, this is going to be an awesome large blade for you. You know, you're going to be able to definitely use your tactical stuff as well. With that awesome jimping and thumb ramp, you're locked in, regardless if you're using the choil or not. You're going to be able to stab paramilitary. You know, they're designing it for either military or law enforcement or for yourself, you know, just self-defense. I mean, you are so locked in with that blade, which is so sweet. And that compression lock is nice and strong, nice and thick, works great. Pillar construction, again, for such a massive blade, for under 4 ounces, that is so impressive, and I love that. Reminds me, I mean, I'd say this just as tactical and ready for fighting use and hard use as, let's say, a cold steel lawman. And cold steel lawman weighs 4.5 ounces. This one weighs 3.75. So that's crazy. Really nice, huge, big handle. Feels very comfortable in my hand. Plenty of room to spare. Huge pillar construction lanyard hole. You can get, you know, paracord, 550 paracord through there, no problem. That pocket clip is what we know from Spyderco. It is going to ride kind of high in your pocket. You can see there, you're going to get about 1 inch riding out. You know, it's not too fat, not too pudgy. It's definitely not a slim knife, to be sure, but it's not a huge, fat, pudgy knife either. Again, like I said, I think the pillar construction. And it's just going to take up, it's not really all that wide, it's just going to take up a lot of real estate long-wise. You know, this length, it's almost 5 inches, so, you know, it's just going to take up some real estate in your pocket. You'll know you're carrying this knife when you're carrying it. But for what it gives you, regardless if it is to defend yourself tactically, to you know, use out in the wilderness, in the woods, EDC in it, whatever, this Paramilitary 2 is going to really blow your mind and totally worth it with that S30V steel as well. You are definitely going to have to work on it to get it to resharpen once it dulls, but it's a great knife that's going to hold, great steel that's going to hold a great edge for you with this knife. That S30V is a super high-end nice steel. I would totally recommend this knife. If you're thinking about it, you're wondering, should I get this knife? Totally. Do it. You'll love it. It'll last a lifetime. You won't ever want to get rid of this blade. The Spyderco Paramilitary 2, grab one when it becomes available. You won't regret it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay equipped. Stay prepared. We'll see you out there.